Hi everybody, it's Russ from My Hammers 11. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notifications so you're made aware of any time we put new videos on. Obviously, we have videos going up daily, but sometimes we upload 2-3 times a day. So make sure you're notified by hitting the bell icon. We have got some awesome guests coming up this week. I can't believe it myself, including today's guest. Bit of a fanboy, I'll be honest, of him. He played 234 times for the club. He scored 34 goals in a 6-year period. It's Martin Bloody Allen. Hi, Martin. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How are you coping in the lockdown? What are you up to?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of gardening, so keeping myself busy with that. Playing a bit of golf for the last couple of weeks, trying to keep fit, lose a bit of weight. And just waiting to and really looking forward to the days as they get closer to returning to the London Stadium to watch the team coming out, and that's going to be an epic day. I can't wait for that. Yeah,
I know that's gonna. Yeah, I mean, I've got because obviously I play the music there. I sort of did it at Upton Park and I did it at London Stadium, and I'm on the list apparently for the closed doors. So clearly the players need Unforever Rain Bubbles played to make sure they know they're at the London Stadium before they start. So no, it's getting exciting.
Allowed in?
Yeah, I'll be allowed in. Yeah, I've got to wear a mask and everything and things like that. I've got to get tested, I think. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? So we'll see what happens. It's exciting now, isn't it? It's a bit like the World Cup, isn't it? You're going to have all these games happening every day, 3 or 4 times a day. It's going to be absolutely mental. But yeah, hopefully the morale of the country will be up a bit more because everyone can watch a bit of sport. But
yeah, but it's been a difficult time. Obviously, 40,000 people losing their lives is horrendous.
Yeah.
So it's something to look forward to, and I guess even through all these difficult times for everybody, and people are going to lose their jobs, you have to try and still stay positive and have a good life, because you've got to make the most of every day, really.
Even more so, isn't it? Out of this, it just shows that you can't, the world changed in a matter of weeks, didn't it? And it just shows you can't. You've got to live for the moment now. You've got to live for the day, and hopefully that'll be a sign for obviously in terms of football, people moan about managers' selections and things like that. We haven't had live football for 100 days. So hopefully, I think we'll be really more appreciative of when the Premier League starts again, particularly eventually when everyone gets back at the London Stadium and everyone can get together. And that, God knows when that will be. The 60,000 can turn up and everyone sings Bubbles together. That's going to be quite a special moment. And can't wait. Counting down the days now.
It's going to be a magic moment.
It will be.
To look forward to.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing. The whole idea of the channel now is obviously we haven't got nothing live to talk about. So we're talking about memories and nostalgia and stuff like that. So we're interviewing fans all over the world, all different ages, about their memories, why they supported the club, and also the players that meant something to them in terms of whether it's positive or negative, but it's all about sort of recording these memories. Some great stories coming out from some of the fans, particularly the foreign fans, the Scandinavian Hammers and stuff like that. It's blown my mind really how much they love the club. It's absolutely incredible. Obviously, we're getting more ex-players like yourselves. We had Tony Gale on. We've got a whole load coming up as well, which is brilliant. So for you, Martin, I know I try and not ask the same questions that you've probably been asked a million times before, but I apologise if I do. Obviously, you joined in 89 from QPR. Why West Ham? Why was it West Ham? Did you was there a number of a club? I heard there was it was Derby, wasn't it? And a few others potentially. Why West Ham?
Why West Ham? Well, there was a bid that came in from Arsenal for David Seaman, the England goalkeeper, and myself. George Graham was the manager of Arsenal, and he had been my youth team manager at QPR. So I'd come through with George into the QPR's first team under Terry Venables. And then when George went there, they made a bid. I think it was something like 900,000 for me and David Seaman. I think it was something like 850 for David and 50 grand for me. But that nice manager out at QPR called Trevor Francis, he turned that offer down and said that it wasn't enough. So I couldn't go to Arsenal, which at the time was a big blow, because he was building a good team, and that would have been a really good club to go for. And then the chance came in with a manager called Arthur Cox at Derby. He'd also put together a good team. And I went up to Derby the night before. I met Lou Macari. And it was a long way. There was a lot of traffic on the M1. I wasn't sure if I wanted to move that far up at that stage and move away from my roots, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfectly.
And I also knew that the next day that I would be meeting Lou Macari at Paddington Station at 11 a.m. So my dad drove us up to Derby. We had a chat with Arthur Cox. He gave us an offer on a contract. I told him we'd let him know tomorrow. We drove back down, got on the train the next day, me and my dad up to Paddington, met him at Paddington Hotel, the Paddington Hotel at Paddington Station. And, my dad spoke to Lou, and then Lou spoke to us, and they agreed a contract in 5 minutes, really.
Wow. The
fact that it was still in London, the fact that both my parents, although they moved to Reading when they were 18 and 19, my mum was 18, my dad was 19, both brought up in Dagenham. My dad was sold by Charlton to Reading Football Club, and I was born and bred in Reading. Yeah. But I knew of the allegiance of all the Allen family. Yeah. There's hundreds of them, by the way. Romford, Dagenham, all over Essex. They're all West Ham. And they used to laugh that I played for QPR. But when it was the chance to go to West Ham, it was the passion and the power of the supporters when they came to Loftus Road. They kind of invaded the place. The whole stadium used to get taken over by West Ham. It was unique. It was different. It was intimidating as a home team for the invasion to come in. When I had a chance to go there to play for those types of people, it was just an absolute no-brainer. The deal got signed that afternoon, I think it was. Got my boots from the training ground, and I had that drive round to Chadwell Heath, which was quite surreal, because the only time I'd ever been round there in my whole life was to go to Dagenham to see both my nans, one in Thompson Road and one in Charlecote Road. I used to call it Charliecote. I think everybody calls it Charlecote Road, where my nans lived. And my aunt is in Romford and Dagenham. And then all of a sudden, it was for the first time in my whole life going to Chadwell Heath. And it was the beginning of an amazing time.
Yeah, exactly. I know that area quite. I live in Hornchurch, so it's like I know. So I know that area quite. Yeah, I'm a Hornchurch boy. Posh. Well, I was Loughton first, and I moved to Hornchurch. Well, I moved to Romford, and then Hornchurch. Well, Gideon Park. Gideon Park, really. Yeah. But I mean, as you said, it's the fan, the fans, and obviously you became, that 6-year period, you became a cult hero, didn't you? I mean, you probably say, well, I don't know, but you did. I loved you. You was like there's there was a lot of the players that I'm interviewing as well. The next few days, it's like a dream come true, to be honest. But in that period, obviously, Lou brought you in, and he obviously brought in, Ludos and people like that as well. And obviously, you scored on your debut as well. An incredible goal, diving header from your debut.
Yeah, from that corner, I can still remember that moment now.
Sure.
That diving header from just outside the 6-yard box into the roof of the net. And then when you sort of stand up, when you get off the floor, and all those supporters behind the goal, and that magical moment, I don't think you ever lose those memories. And it's hard to describe the feeling that gives you. I can still feel it now. Getting up and all those people there, just a magical moment. And my dad was up in the stand. All my other family had gone to an Allen family wedding, which my dad was supposed to go to. But on the Saturday morning, he just said, I ain't going to the wedding, I'm coming to watch mine. So for my dad, it must have been a major moment in his life. Yeah. And of course, lucky enough to score quite a lot more goals after that as a midfield player. It was quite a good tally.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, you obviously Lou brought you, Mackay brought you in, obviously, everything, then obviously Bonzo took over, and then you end up getting promoted that year, wasn't it? And you got second. Well, I think Lou left when you were 10th, and I think Bonzo came in and you got up to the first division that year, and obviously, unfortunately, relegation, but then promotion again the following season, 92, 93, and then obviously in the Premier League. So a long time, obviously, loads of games for West Ham. What were your sort of, obviously, your debut and scoring it on your debut, but were there any other sort of significant moments? It's probably millions, to be honest, Martin, but anything which sticks out in your mind that, of your time at West Ham, sort of really, really fond memories or really amazing memories playing for the club for so long?
You look like Neil Ruddock.
Do you know what? Someone's talking about putting names on the back of my shirt, and I'll be honest, the last person I had on the back of my shirt was Neil Ruddock. It was Razor.
You do look a bit like Neil Ruddock. I knew you looked like someone.
You say taking your 10 minutes, mate. Anyway, fond memories.
What was the question?
I can't remember now. Fond memories, yeah.
I think that night against Wimbledon in the Cup, they were a very, very good team.
Yes.
Big, strong, and men, nasty. Julian got sent off. I think he trod on somebody, which was probably a yellow.
Yeah. Didn't it all kick off? Wasn't it like a 22-man brawl or something like that? And then straight away, I think Julian got the tackle in as it started off again or something like that. I can't remember.
Well, when you go into those battles, and they're going to be battles, they're all, apart from Dennis Wise, they're all 6 foot plus. They can all lead it. They know where to put it. They also had Winterburn at left back, Dennis Wise, 2 quality players, both quick, both, good, proper footballers. But they had power and they had strength, and that you knew that they were going to come into Upton Park on a Tuesday night and try and intimidate and bully and play their way. And without going into too much detail, there was a bouncing ball after about 5 minutes in the centre circle. And the guy coming towards me was had a white headband on. He was a big, strong centre-back. He was silent, but he was violent. And his name was Eric Young.
Yes.
And as the ball bounced up, I was going towards him. He was coming towards me. And it was right in the middle of the pitch. And I had a choice. Either get the ball with the bottom of my foot or get his balls with the bottom of my foot. And that was the balancing act. And if you like, in my mind, there was no way I was going to go for the ball. It was a moment to make a statement that you're not going to bully us, you're not going to intimidate us, and we're going to have it with you. That may sound basic, but those moments in football games can be key for the mentality, not only of the players, but also the supporters. I nearly castrated Eric, God bless him. And he was on the floor. All their players piled in to get me. Dennis Wise had his fingers round my neck like that, looking up at me. All the others were looking down on me. And Julian Dix came in like, and tried to take out about 8 of them. Anyway, he got sent off 5 minutes later. We played with 10 men. It was 0-0, 10 minutes to go. Tim Breaker had been playing at left back. And from my right side midfield position, I was playing at right back with the license to try and go forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, there was a brilliant bit of football down the left-hand side. I think it was Alan Devonshire, Liam Brady, Stuart Slater, what great players, all doing their little bit down the left-hand side. The ball got cut back to the penalty spot. And that volley from right back, it should really be on the halfway line as a right back when the ball's going down the left-hand side. I got up into the box and that volley went straight into the stanchion. Oh, my God. The sellout crowd, Tuesday night, Upton Park. Absolutely exhausted. We won the game 1-0. The place was absolutely rocking. And I've got to say that night probably was, just one of the highlights. There's probably many, but that story always springs to mind. And I've still got Eric's nuts on the bottom of my studs. God bless.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, brilliant. So obviously, yeah, I mean, one of a million stories, and we've all heard some great stories from you, you know, throughout the years. But obviously, you played with you obviously played on a few managers, but you played under obviously with a lot of players. And that's the idea of this whole sort of Hammers 11 thing, is to sort of talk about the players that you played with, and if you had to pick a team of the players you played with, who would you pick, type thing. And obviously you can play yourself, Martin, of course, wherever you want. Tony Gale put himself as captain. He was going to put myself up front, but he went centre back. He was on corners. He was doing it all. But you know, that's Tony. So if you was picking your 11,
Tony.
yes, Tony, exactly. If you was picking your 11, who would be between the sticks for Martin's Hammers 11?
Do you mean the goalkeeper?
Yes, the goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper. I think without a shadow of a doubt, that's just a simple, easy one. Ludo was just a unique character. He wasn't a great laugh. I've never, ever seen anybody train more than him. The hardest worker, without a shadow of a doubt. Hardest trainer, best athlete, East European. And he brought a culture and a change to what none of us were ever used to. None of us. He brought something different. His total focus and self-belief and desire to do well. Great man. Hard, honest, straight talking. Great player, great man.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. Ludo, yeah, lovely guy as well. Like lovely guy off in terms of, you know, the stories that are coming through from the fans. You know, obviously it was nice as well. You know, he seems to have a lot of time for everybody as well. Right, we'll put Ludo in goal. Who will go left back? If I could probably guess who's going to go left back. But who would go left back?
Well, I think without a shadow of a doubt, that would have to be Julian Dix.
Yes.
I got to know him pretty well. I got to know him well. He had an absolute love of football. And I first saw him play for Birmingham City Reserves when I was Portsmouth reserve team manager. And I was trying to do the knowledge, what I would call the knowledge to find players for when I wanted to be a coach or a manager. And I saw this boy playing at 15 on a Tuesday afternoon. He was playing with Noel Blake at centre back. I think there was a lad called Hopkins who was right wing. I think Kevin Dillon was playing in midfield. There was Mark Dennis. I think he was involved at that time at Birmingham. The goalkeeper, who went on to play for Manchester United, was playing on a Tuesday afternoon. This skinny skinhead went into this tackle after 10 minutes, and I'm sitting there with my pad and my notes, making notes on the game. And he went into a tackle over the far side. It was like, got to be careful how I say this. Flipping heck. He launched into this player of the opposition on the halfway line. He got a yellow card. I said to the bloke in front of me, I said, "Who's that kid? Julian Dix. Who is he?" He said, "Oh, he's 15. He's from Bristol. He lives up here in Diggs. He doesn't go to school. And he goes training every day. He don't like school." Oh my God, that's the first time I saw him. He was the most unbelievable trainer.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. As long as you were doing the things that he liked. If there were sessions that he didn't like, he didn't do it. Okay. If there was running sessions around Chadwell Heath, he wouldn't do it. He'd stand in front of the managers and the coaches and just say, "I'm not doing it." Certain managers said, "You've got to do it." So he would do it, but instead of running it at full speed, for argument's sake, a 5-lap run starting on the halfway line, where you've got to do 5 laps as quick as you can.
Sure.
He would do 5 laps, and everybody would have been finished 10 minutes ago, because he would do it at the slowest jog you've ever seen. When he'd finished with a proper attitude, we'd have a little game, and within 5 minutes, he'd have scored about 8 goals. And each time he'd score, he'd shout out loud, "You don't need that flipping running. Just give me the ball and let me play." He was a manager's nightmare.
Yeah.
But his love of training, his love of football, his desire to win, his focus was second to none. He was difficult to manage, but my God, what a proper good bloke.
Yeah, totally agree. And you know, he was a from a left, not particularly, you know, I mean, the left backs, the full back positions aren't particularly glamorous, are they, in football, you know, but for Julian, he managed to galvanize a crowd from left back, you know, and the fans loved him, and he was an absolute legend. Yeah. All right, we'll put Julian in. Let's go for right back. Who do we have right back for the Martin 11?
Well, the teams that I played in, I think that would have to be the Robot.
Who's the Robot?
Don't you know the Robot?
No, I don't know the Robot.
The Machine.
The Machine.
Yeah, Tim Breaker.
Tim Breaker. I was about to say, yeah. When you said machine, robot, I was like, machine. Yeah, Tim Breaker.
He was a robot. Up and down the right-hand side. Good runner, good pace, great attitude, good trainer, good attitude all round, good in the dressing room, quiet. He used to look in and smile about some of the things we used to get up to. But never affected by anybody else or anything else. He had total focus. A really, really good man. A proper, what I would call a proper bloke.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be in the middle of the banter, but he would have a little smile, and he would always, he's just a popular person. Yeah. Really good player, good in the air, all right foot. Good bloke. Great bloke, Tim.
Good shout. Yeah, Tim Breaker. And that's quite funny because now you've got more time to, now everyone's watched Tiger King and everyone's done Netflix. I've been watching loads of the season reviews, and I think I underappreciated Tim Breaker when I was a fan, when I was at that age, because I'm watching him more now, and he was, and now I get the whole machine thing, because he was, and got forward quite a lot from right back as well, and lovely guy. He's coming on as well soon. We'll have him on soon. Right, we'll put Tim on the right. Centre backs, Martin. Who are we going to play at centre back for you?
Well, I think there was a player that was not the tallest for a centre back. Steve Potts. Quick, good, quick. Not the greatest in the air, but what a good, consistent, solid player to have in your team.
Yeah.
I'm picking Potsy because Tony Gale obviously was good, but by the time I got there, Tony was probably just going past his best, if that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I think Potsy would be the one that I would put in there because of his pace and his recovery, his covering of recovery tackles. And consistency, week in, week out, the same. You've got the same from Potsy, week in, week out. Never spectacular, quiet. He used to watch what was going on and see us messing about and doing naughty things. And he would just look and he would smile and he'd walk away grinning, shaking his head, thinking, naughty, they're naughty. Proper good bloke. Really good man.
Yeah, no, I agreed. He was. I loved Potsy. As you said, he was really good at reading the game, didn't he? So he just seemed to, as you said, he wasn't the tallest man, but he didn't need to be if you read the game properly. And so, I loved. Yeah, Steve Potts was great. I loved him. Never had a hair out of place as well. He had, nice slick hair. I haven't got much left, but there you go. All right, we'll put Stevie in. Who's Stevie going to partner in centre back positions then, Martin?
I thought this was a little bit of a tough one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to give that role to Alvin Martin.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say, with all due respect to Alvin, he was probably just past his best. Or he was on his sort of way towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
What a player. What a trainer. What a focused attitude of desire. to win and do well in training every day. Probably at that time he wasn't the best at 3 games in a week, but when it came to it on the big games, he turned out, and you could see why he played for England. You could see why he had such an outstanding career, and to be involved with him, it was fantastic player.
No, I agree, and that's a sentiment that the fans, he obviously crops up in a lot of fans' 11s because of that exact reason, and he the way you said about the fans and stuff, obviously it was a major reason why you went to West Ham. Alvin as well. He wasn't from round these parts, so to speak, but just got the fans, and obviously has a good legacy with the club. Still, and obviously still lives around the area and stuff like that. He's like an adopted Cockney, that's what I call him. But no, I love Alvin. Yeah, good shout. Right, okay, let's go into midfield then, Martin. Let's go to left wing. Who do we have on the left wing?
Easy, Stuart Slater.
Yeah.
Magic. He was magic. That left foot, his change of pace, his speed, fearless. Not in the tackle, but fearless of the occasion, fearless of taking people on, fearless of being creative, fearless of performing on the big stage and having the responsibility to get the ball and make something happen. And there were times he was absolutely unplayable. In training, it was your worst nightmare if you had to go up against him 1-to-1. But a really decent guy, a really nice, genuine, honest, down-to-earth, humble, good man. Love seeing him now. He's an ambassador at West Ham. When I go to do the games, he's an ambassador. And I love speaking to Stuart. He's just a nice, if he was your son, you'd be happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Lovely lad.
Yeah, good shout. I think he was brilliant. Right, we'll put Stuart on the left. Let's go the other wing. Let's go the right wing. Who do we have on the right wing for the Allen 11?
I think that would have to go to was quite a comfortable one really. Kevin Keane.
Yeah.
Kevin Keane. I used to travel in with Kevin Keane from West London. So we lived at the time in a posh area. Like you in Gidea Park, we lived in Gerrard's Cross. All snooty toffs used to wear tops like this, you know what I mean? With bow ties and cravats, which didn't really suit me, but I used to wear it as well. So we used to drive in together. We used to share the journey. So he would drive one day and I would drive the other day. We'd drive round the M25 to Waltham Abbey. Yeah. We'd cut through from Waltham Abbey through Abridge, Thaden Boys, and then into Abridge, and then past that great big new building on the left called Roller Bowl. There was a bowling alley.
Yeah, it's still there. Collier Row, yeah, that's still there. Yeah.
In down there, down those roads, through the traffic lights, turn left at the next set of traffic lights. I think the Moby Dick was on the corner. Yeah,
I'm following you. Yeah, you're right.
In there to Chadwell Heath. Always used to get there for 10 o'clock in the morning. Training would start at 10:30. Soon as training was finished, we'd have a bit of food with Shirley in the dining room, jump in the car, and it was the journey back all the way home the same route. And we've done that together for years. So I've really built up a good friendship with him. Opportunities to talk football. Of course, he came from a very successful footballing family. He had his own ideas about coaching, about training, about players, about team selection, about what was good and what wasn't good. And it's no surprise to me that he's gone on to have such an outstanding career as a coach at the top level, and as a player. Silky skills, again, brave, to have responsibility, to want the ball, to make something happen. It took courage to get on the ball and play and perform and open gaps and make things happen. And Kevin Keane had that in abundance. As a trainer, hard worker, and as a man and off the pitch, he's an absolute diamond. An absolute diamond of a person, and still in touch with him now. And I'd say proper good friend, proper bloke.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interviewing him tomorrow, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll pass your regards. That's brilliant. Yeah, we'll put Keenan at the right. Yeah, definitely love it. Okay, let's go into centre midfield. Martin, who are we going to have in centre? Who are going to be our two centre midfielders? I don't know.
Oh, that's quite straightforward, I think. And I don't make any of these choices with any disrespect to anybody.
No, of course not.
There's so many good players that perhaps I haven't. My two in central midfield would be Peter Butler.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when he first signed from Southend. He trained on the first day with a pair of high-tech football boots. And we were all looking out the corner of our eye as we went out for the warm-up. And he was a northern lad. He smelled very brash, right up front. Didn't mess about, Peter. Bit of a ginger hair, big jawline. And when he spoke, you listened to him because he had passion and he had power. But then on his feet, he had a pair of high-tech. So it was like, really? We didn't know Pete. We didn't know him. 10 minutes later, everybody knew Peter.
Yeah.
The tackles had already started going in. It didn't matter to him if it was a training day where everyone would be maybe a 7 out of 10 or 70%, or 80%. It didn't matter to Peter. If there was a tackle to be had, Peter went through large. And then we came to do some running. And I was pretty good at running. No one could beat Peter. No one. Wow. He was unbeatable. He'd made his mark on the first half hour. And I thought he was a superb player. He was just what we needed. And great athlete. As a bloke, what a diamond bloke. What a diamond. He told it straight. He didn't mess about with anybody. If he didn't like you or didn't like something you said, he told you. Yeah. But yeah, proper respect for everybody. Never held any grudges. And we used to make him laugh, a few of us, the naughty boys. And he used to look at us, shake his head and just walk off. But I love Peter, great bloke. And then next to Peter, another one of the funniest opposite types to me. He used to have long hair and always used to smile, and I always used to have a skinhead and used to be a horrible face. He would be good with the football and want the football to play and have touches and dictate play. And he had great courage. Never any stress. He never needed to warm up because he was just always relaxed. And Ian Bishop, used to be able to play passes all over the pitch, keep possession, move the ball. And even if he wasn't having a good time, he still wanted the ball. He always had that courage. And he always used to grin. Out on the pitch, I was in a battle and a war, wanted to fight. And Bish, he'd look at the opposition and shake their hands and say, "Hello, mate, how are you? Where you been?" And I'd been looking at him with blood coming out of my face, thinking, opposite, but what a player. And a really, really decent bloke. A proper nice person. Very, very funny. He always used to come out to training with a packet of polos in his pocket. He did like to have a few beers down the pub in Chigwell. Yeah. So when he used to come out to training, he'd always be eating mints, so the manager could never smell his breath. And that used to make me laugh.
Oh,
I used to love. Great guy, great man. He is a proper decent bloke.
Yeah. And Peter Butler was the first player I ever met, because they used to do. They'd never do it now, but they used to do like the junior hammers. You could hire a birthday party at the school next door, and a player would turn up, And Peter Butler was like, and he just played the day before, and I was like, he was the first player I ever met. So it's like, yeah, have a special bond with Peter Butler. But yeah, and Bish, both of them, we got both of them on. They're both coming on as well. So we've got, I think we've got Bish on Monday. So I'll talk to him about polos and see what he says.
He'll say, "Who told you that?"
Yeah, exactly. Who told you that? Because your video won't be up by then, so you won't know. Right, okay, we'll put Bish on and Butler. Lovely. B&B. Up front. Who are we going to have up front, Martin?
Well, the other person that used to make me grin, who used to wind me up, and he used to suggest that I do silly things, is Trevor Morley.
Yeah.
One of the hardest, toughest men you could meet. Fearless. Good player. Good player. Hard trainer, hard worker, good player. Very good player. If he'd have had a bit more pace, he'd have probably gone on up top level. Self-belief, confidence, leader, man. Great in the dressing room. Proper bloke Morley. Good player. Always going to get you 12 to 15 goals a season. Diamond.
Yeah, and that's what you need. You need someone in a team who's going to strikers who're going to bag you 12, 15, isn't it? West Ham haven't had that for a long time, I would say, like a consistent 12, 15 goal striker, let alone a 20 goal striker. But yeah, Trevor Morley. Yeah,
well, he's not a Frank McAvenny used to get 25.
Yeah.
Tony Cotter used to get 30. He's never going to be in that bracket. But the other bracket where Trevor would also help, he would come back as a number 10 and help the midfield players.
Sure.
He would work the back four. He would come and pick off the back of the midfield players, and he was willing to do a stint for the team rather than just be on the shoulder to get in behind.
Yeah.
So no, he was very, very good for that team.
Yeah, no, definitely. And who would Trev partner up from? Who would be the final piece of the Allen 11?
This may shock some people.
Okay.
My other centre forward would be Marco Boogers.
Yep. Okay. Marco Boogers. Yep. Okay. And why Mr. Boogers, Martin?
Well, it was at Old Trafford where he got that red card.
Yeah.
He'd only been on the pitch for how long?
Oh, I don't know. Not long. We've had a few like that. Thomas Repka did it, didn't he? He got sent off the first few games he played for us. But yeah, Marco Boogers would always go down in infamy, won't he?
Well, he's just an infamous character. I roomed with him. Because I used to do silly things in hotel, everywhere I went really. No one ever wanted to room with me. Harry took us down somewhere in Somerset or Devon to a little place called Morton Hampstead, a big old stately home with a little golf course round it. And when we got there, on the list, I was rooming with Marco Boogers. So they always put me with, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll do. Give him. Martin will have him. Martin can look after him. Oh my God, he was madder than me. He was mad. He couldn't give. Am I allowed to say give a toss?
Yeah, of course you can.
He couldn't give a toss about anybody or anything. He was carefree. He wasn't a very good footballer, to be honest. He's not really my centre forward. I couldn't honestly think of another centre forward. Who could be my centre forward? Can you give me some names?
Players you played with. I'm trying to think. Who do we have? David Speedy. You had Clive Allen. You had David Speedy.
I would say both of those had their attributes and both were good players.
Yeah.
But I would say both of those were probably just past their best.
Yeah.
What I did like about David Speedy, when he was at Chelsea and he was on the pitch, he was the lunatic.
Yeah.
He had such a brilliant leap and could hang and jump and head the ball. And any time he could, he'd either elbow, punch, or kick people. And he was thoroughly abusive. And I didn't like him. When he came to West Ham, he was the same on the pitch, but off the pitch, David Speedy, what an absolute diamond. The opposite end of the scale to being mad was David Speedy. We'd never known that somebody could go over the white line and do that. There's one player that I haven't got into that team.
Go on, pull him in.
He's
and
not
then...
going to be a centre forward. I'm going to change it. And I'm going to play with an extra midfield player. We'll push Trevor Morley up front, because the one player that's special to me is John Moncur. But John's going to have to fit into that midfield, and we'll play with a three in midfield. Stuart and Kevin can push further up the pitch a little bit.
Yeah.
Bish can play at the back, and then on the right can be Peter Butler, and on the left can be John Moncur, and at the bottom of that triangle, in front of the two back players, could be Ian Bishop, because we'll try and play some decent football. Morley can push right up and on their back four, but John Moncur has got to be in my team. Left-footed. I played against him when he was at Swindon. You can imagine, blonde.
Yeah.
He had one of those wedge haircuts. And come from Tottenham.
Yeah.
He played all nice football. He had lovely, quick feet. And at 19 or 20, when he signed for Swindon under Glenn Hoddle, I used to love playing against him, because I don't like Tottenham. And people with wedges that are blonde, who were good footballers, it was my job to get them. And I didn't like him, really. Well, I hurt him a couple of times accidentally. And then when he signed for West Ham, what a great bloke. What a great bloke. What a really good player. 100% committed. One of the funniest people I've ever seen. He used to wind me up as well. He used to take the mickey and wind me up and make me do. Him and Morley used to make me do stupid things. But I'd have to have Moncur in my team.
Exactly. Love it. And what comes through everything you talk about, Martin, is basically they're all great. You all seem to be still mates and great blokes. And I think that gets lost in the game now. It's like in the modern day, I wouldn't see, I don't know, Sebastian Haller phoning up Fabianski in 20 years' time. But I can see you and Kevin Keane phoning each other up 20 years' time, and Morley and Monks, and obviously Bish is still around. It seems that group of players, there was a real togetherness. And I just think it's a sad thing, really, because even before your time, the boys of '86, they still are mates and stuff, and you don't get that anymore now. And that's what comes across when talking to guys like yourselves, is the team camaraderie and that was probably the last period, I reckon, at West Ham, where you had Monks, you had real characters. You don't get that in the modern game anymore. It's almost too professional. And it's a shame, because you have great stories like what you've said today.
Well, life moves forward, doesn't it? Life does change. So, when you're talking about what's going to happen in 20 years' time, God bless if I see 20 years.
You know what I
can't
mean?
see that. Can't see that one happening. No, it's important. You have to. Society evolves and it changes, and with so many players coming from different countries now and travelling, and we're getting players from South America, managers from South America, and coaches. And don't forget, we had Robbie Slate, who come from Australia. So it was starting to change. When I was playing, it was starting to change, and then Repka came in, and Ludo, of course, from Eastern Europe. When we do all see each other at the stadium, it is lovely to see them. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, we're not on the phone all the time checking how each other are. Yeah. But no, when you see people like George Paris, I mean, what a great bloke he is. Yeah. What a great player and a servant to our club he was. So to see George and he would probably be one. If you could have a first sub, it would be George. And if anybody was injured, you put George in. He could play left back, right back, field position, and he'd do anything he could for the team to help the team. So what a good player George was. So he would be in there. So, but yes, I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
And I suppose you could say that moving from Upton Park, where you had those characters that you knew from the terraces and from your seats, and the route to the ground, and where you went for pie and mash, or where if you went for a couple of pints and a bet before the game. It has all changed and moved over now to the stadium, where everyone's going to miss those things. But like you said earlier, 60,000 people, when we march to the cathedral, when we get the first opportunity to go and watch the people that we worship in the claret and blue, is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And different things over the next few years. I'm sure people are going to find a place to eat, to park, to go for a few beers. And I'm sure there's going to start to feel, I know it's quite a long way from the pitch, which is a problem, always going to be a problem. But hopefully in time, people can start to get that feeling back from Upton Park and transfer that into the stadium with a really good West Ham team, and to make us all proud. Yeah,
no, I agree, and I think you're right. And it's and obviously, you know, Upton Park were there for 100 years, and so obviously, you know, where my granddad went for pie and mash when he was a boy was where we went for, you know. So you have this sort of longevity, and I think it will take generations. But you know, Upton Park, the move to London Stadium wasn't necessarily for the people who are not going to be around in 10, 15 years. It's going to be for the new generation. So my daughter, she's 8, she only knows West Ham play at London Stadium. She never knew about Upton Park. So, and that is progress, as you said. But Martin, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. It's been some lovely stories, and it's. I know you're a busy man, and I really appreciate your time.
Did you say you know I'm a busy man?
Well, I thought. Are you going out? You're playing golf? You're playing golf today?
Nah.
No, not today.
My sister's coming over for lunch today.
Oh, lovely. It
Like
looks like
got a bit of fingers, you know what I mean? Been doing a bit of gardening.
There we go, isn't it? There you go. And as I said, you can watch some. You got to watch some Bundesliga today, if you know. And then we've got, as I said, a couple of weeks' time. Wolves at home.
Bundesliga.
No, I'm not really into it.
Bores me.
Watch the snooker. Snooker's quite good, because obviously snooker doesn't.
Snooker?
Well, snooker's on, isn't it? Snooker's on. You can watch snooker. Yeah. Snooker's on. Snooker's the first live sport to come back in the UK. Yeah, that's all. That started on Monday. Ronnie played the other day. He's got a massive moustache. He looks like Tom Selleck. It's quite funny. But yeah.
One afternoon after training, Kevin Keane and I went to Ilford Snooker Centre. I don't know who it was we were playing against. And it's about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock after training. We never really stopped there because we normally used to get on that road. Yeah. But 2 tables away was this little kid playing snooker. And quite a few people were watching him. I think it's not 7 Kings. It was just along from the training ground, along that road there.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, this kid, it's a century break. I'd never seen a century break. I can only get about 9 before I start getting bored. And it was Ronnie O'Sullivan. It was Ronnie O'Sullivan. He was 15 and he was smashing centuries, and he was playing against blokes, the best blokes all around London, were going into there to play him. Oh my God, it was unbelievable. And of course, I've kept my eye on snooker. I like Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
But snooker, you watch snooker, that's boring.
Well, not like religiously, but it was like, it was on, wasn't it? And it's like, but soon do
you watch Netflix?
Yeah, I watch Netflix. But then, what do you watch? You I've got through. You did Tiger King. You don't know. It was only on mine. I wasn't glued to it. It's like the darts. They had the darts, weren't they? They were playing darts at home. Did you watch that one?
Who watches darts?
Well, I think if you go to Ali Pally, you'd watch it, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, that'd be
you
good
have
fun.
a beer. You have a beer there, but we're going to be like having this deluge of football Premier League coming in soon. So
Yeah.
Which is going to be awesome. But yeah, it's 20th of June, 5:30 kickoff on Sky Wolves. So yeah, looking forward to that. Martin, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, man. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching. Some great stories.
And
obviously, what? Thanks everyone for
What did you
watching. Well, everyone's going to watch the video. So I'm saying thank you, Martin, to people who are watching in the future.
Oh yeah, everybody out there, make sure you stay safe.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Stay safe.
Put your mask on if you're travelling public transport now.
Yeah. And stick to old BJ's rules.
Exactly. Stick to those rules, please, because we all get out of this as soon as possible. Anyway, thanks everyone for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Martin. That was great. Thank you very much. I love that. Are you eating a dog biscuit?
Get the dog biscuit.
That's what I said. Well, you are the mad dog, so it's like, it's not a surprise.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that. Yeah, I'm still recording, so yeah. At the end, that's brilliant.